Good morning. Thank you so much for tuning into my channel, Creating in the Waiting. Today, we are going to be playing with the Linedotarrow freebies to create vintage ephemera, documents, letters, whatever. So, the challenge is to take a modern item or an already vintage item and make it look antique. So if you have a vintage item that doesn't really have that antique vibe, you can simply burn the edges and ink it. You can stain it. I've created vintage tape. I do have a tutorial, so you can find that just in my videos. And then, or I will link it in the description box below. So I've used a couple pieces of my vintage tape here. And this literally was just some gold gilding wax and my lighter. And I stained the paper and I broiled it. I didn't even wait because I was so impatient. I didn't bake it. I just broiled it. Now this was an already vintage envelope that I antiqued. So I put my vintage tape here. I put just a vintage postage stamp, use of gilding wax, and then I burned the edges also. So these are the items that I have created, and I'm going to show you just how easy it is. But if you would like to get your hands on the freebies that I'm using, because that's literally what I'm using. I've taken my stained paper and I have printed it onto the digitals onto this paper. I'm going to ball it up and stuff also. So took my copy paper, I stained it with tea because I'm allergic to coffee. So you can use coffee if you want, and it will probably look better. Well, actually, it will look darker. And then put it in your oven if you want to bake it, because it does give it that, like, I don't want to say burnt look. It'll give it that browned look. But, again, I broiled it. And you'll do it on, like, low if you want to do it on low, on, like, 275 or something. I don't know. And then straw paper. So I printed the digital onto straw paper and I really like that. But I'm going to be honest, I didn't want to do any more with my straw paper, so we're not going to be doing that one. But it's the same type of deal here, but I love my straw paper. And I'm working on another flip-flop journal, so I'll be needing to save that. So if you want to get your hands on how I'm doing this, just head on over to the Linedotarrow Facebook group, which I will link in the description box below, and you can participate in the weekly challenges that she does in the group. Super fun, super amazing, and I'm also working with the Linedotarrow digital kit photographer's work to create the little journal that we've been working on. So I will link all of that in the description box below. Just head on down there. Okay, so first things first. I'm going to see if my scissors will actually let me, oh yeah, buddy, do what I want this to do. So I like doing this. And if it tears, all the more better, because all the more vintage. So if you don't have a lighter, you can do this. You know, you can put wax seal on your letter if you want to put a wax seal on your letter. I might put a little wax seal on this one. In the digital, she does have little wax seals. So just going to rough up some of those edges all the way around. This is super easy, super awesome, fun little project. And if you don't have vintage ephemera, this is a way that you can, you know, create that look that you want. And it's fun sometimes to make your own. So I think that's good enough. I'm gonna be honest, when I set this on fire, no, let's just hope not. Do this over a sink or a metal pan. You do this at your own risk. I don't want to be responsible for somebody's house catching on fire. I was watching Arlene's tutorial and then all of a sudden my house was on fire. really try to rough this up. So this is 30-pound copy paper. And I think that since, you know, I baked this, it made it a little bit sturdier. And I literally just, in my kitchen, I have a pan of tea. It's black tea. And I have it, like, when the air hits it, I don't know, it does something to it. Like, the air, like, oxidizes it or something. And it makes it to where the pages are darker. I don't know, it's weird. So I didn't even have to soak them for very long. I literally just dipped them in and then, you know, flipped the page over and over until it got to a color that I liked. And I knew that I was just going to pop it in the oven and I was going to print on it. So, because at the end of the day, I mean, this does look pretty to me. Not that part. That was my printer. I did iron it also. So it will kind of like want to curl up. But I ironed it that way. And I just used a regular iron. It's fine. I wanted it to run through my printer with ease. Or it'll, you know, jam your printer because it won't want to catch on those spools. I have a feeling that this right here is just going to be like this. I am going to ball it up also. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe I don't want this one all balled up. Because my other ones, they're pretty balled up. I do like that look, though. This went through the ringer, boy. Somebody said, I'm not paying this bill. Then they did this. Now, what I'm going to do is don't blow on this. And my ceiling fan is on. I'm just going to go like that with my fingers. Because I'm a savage. And you know, we're already kind of getting that vintage look. You don't have to go all the way around the paper if you don't want to. I find this extremely soothing. So I'm probably going to go around all of my edges and pay attention to the flame. And I want this kind of my lighter isn't the bestest of lighter. I literally just use it for my wax seals. So I'm not going to pause the video. I'm going to kind of try to take you guys through the whole process. No. You can burn a hole kind of straight through the middle. Now, one that I did that way, it was like the hole was too big. So I ended up doing something different with that paper. There we go. That's what I want. So it literally doesn't take much to kind of achieve something different. It'd be a lot better if you had a lighter that would actually work. You can do this over your kitchen sink if you want. And remember, when it starts doing that, if you do that, just don't, because my first instinct is to blow. Don't blow on it. But that's going to be my first instinct sometimes. So we have this one already done like that, but what I'm going to do right now is kind of focus on this for a second. And I'm going to take my gold gilding wax I just had out because I was making some little vintage tags, tabs for my friend. And this is what I'm using. And I'm just going to go around some of these, and I'm actually just going to dip my finger in it. Was using a dauber, and I like that, but let's just do this because I didn't want my hands to get kind of all messy, but I'm just going to go like this. And then plus, I will start to have reactions to literally everything, but at this point, yeah. Just over it. We're just going to continue to go with it, and it doesn't seem like it has any glitter on it, or I would feel it immediately. So you get those gold little edges. It looks so much better in person than it does on the camera, guys. It's actually super beautiful. I'm probably going to take my dauber and do just some inking on that one little spot there as I put gilding wax on my hands. Or arm. Doesn't really take very much. And sometimes I'll start to be like, it'll have too much on my dauber and I'll do too much because it's at an angle where like I can't really see it, and then I'll turn it and I'll be like, whoa, that's a lot. So I'm just going to kind of wipe my hands on this fabric that I have right here because I wasn't prepared with paper towels. So I'm just going to kind of wipe my hands off a little bit. Now, with the vintage tape that I created a while back, I didn't use it fast enough, and it was sitting on my little parchment paper stuff, so some of the sticky, whenever I was peeling it off, is off my tape. So I'll just glue it with my glue. It's no big deal. Go ahead and move this over here. So really though, if I wanted to ink it, I should have inked it first. And honestly, it doesn't, really need any inking. And I didn't really want to crumple it very much. I could have crumpled it first, but I got ahead of myself. So you can ball it up if you want to ball it up, and ball it up first. I'm going to let this dry. And if I want to ball it up, then I'll ball it up. But I'm going to let that gold gilding kind of dry. We'll ball this one up. So what I am going to do is kind of ink this up a little, just in case. And just going to ball it up. I'm looking at that paper where I might want to put the tape. I have a couple pieces cut sitting over here. Now with that, I kind of do want to just run my dauber over it. Just kind of gives it a weathered look. Or you could take a paper towel with tea or coffee and just lightly kind of go over it. But I mean, my vintage photo, my ink kind of does good enough on that. And I don't want to play with any liquids right now. So this could technically be considered, I'm not going to put my tape on this yet either. I was going to do that, but I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait for that to dry, and I'm going to ball this up just a little bit because I want it to have just a little bit of wrinkling, kind of like that. So let's go ahead and I feel like for this one, I might put a small little hole in the middle maybe. Just so you can kind of see that. I'm hoping that it's not gonna do like a ginormous hole. Or even to where it kind of blacks it through. Now we are going to do our gilding wax. Most of the time I use a dauber for this. I knew I was already going to lose that, so I just kind of pulled it off because the paper was like super brittle. Maybe gonna go over some of that with, and it would probably be a little bit neater with my dauber, but sometimes it just puts a big blob. Create what brings you joy, and right now I'm finding satisfaction in this, so I'm gonna continue to go with it. So then you have something like that. Now let's take our vintage tape. I feel like if I ball that up, those edges are gonna say, no ma'am. You've done enough to me already. So what I'm going to try to do is kind of maybe ink along some of these folds. And I'm just using my, well, I'm literally using whatever my dauber comes into contact first, which would be my coffee archival ink. So just kind of let go of all perfection here and just create. Play with your paper, have fun. This is for you, not for the masses. You know, nobody's gonna judge your work. I'm gonna take just a second to thank all of my subscribers for being here. Thank you to all my new subscribers. I hope you're well, and I'm happy you're here. I'll link my Facebook group in the description box below also. And if you're not a part of the Savage Art community, I would love for you to become part of what's happening over there. And then I will have to clean this mess. Because what is art without making a mess? Seriously, like that's how easy that was. So I turned, well, I can't even find copy paper now. Like I need to remind y'all what copy paper looks like. I turned my copy paper and this freebie into my very own vintage ephemera. So please hit like, subscribe, and comment. Let me know that you're here, and I look forward to seeing your makes. Bye for now.